every single thing we're asking our kids to do, we're willing to do ourselves. We're not asking them to do things that we won't do. But the other key is the reason we're asking them to do it is because we're doing something they can't do. They know we're carrying the load, a load they can't carry. And so they feel inclined, inspired, motivated to help out because they know we're doing way more for them than they could do for themselves. And we tell them, not in like this, you better be grateful to us, but it's just like, hey guys, do you want this? Do you want to be able to travel? Do you want to be able to live here? Do you want to be able to do this thing? Well, we're trying to do all of this. That means we need help with these things. I want you to understand that whenever we talk about a certain strategy we're using like this, maybe not whenever with all of them, but in a case like this, the time to use this sort of strategy is when they are acting entitled or having a bad attitude or it's chronic unhelpfulness, right? That's when we're like, okay, we're drawing a line here. We're going to get a little bit fierce. Then we go back to, everything's good. Yeah. Thank you so much for helping out. Oh, I'm so grateful. We focus on that most of the time, but you can only have that when you've drawn a line in the sand and made firm boundaries. Without the clear boundaries, that's when the being nice parent you can become the pushover parent. You have to have the first firm boundaries in place, and sometimes you have to be fierce to get them there. But then after that, you don't have to be fierce all the time. The problem I see most parents is that they're fierce at the wrong times. They're fierce about the things that don't really matter. And then when the things really do matter, they have no leverage. They have no influence because they've used all their influence on things that just don't really matter. So we save that for the things that really matter so we can form those firm boundaries. And then once those boundaries are in place, then they have freedom to do whatever and to make their choices because they're like, I know where those boundaries are. We talked about this in one of our episodes, which we call it the fortress. The best scenario is when you have the fortress in place with the firm boundaries and the kids inside get to make all their decisions about what they're doing. And when they get close to that boundary and they start pushing on it, that's when you're firm. But the rest of the time, it's like, yeah, great. Okay. You don't want to wash the dish? All right. Let's, I'll do it. Here's why. Because, it's great to be nice to other people and serve other people. But you'll learn to do that at some point. But then when it's something that's serious, we're like, no, I'm drawing the line here because I pay for the mortgage and I pay for the internet and you're not going to be sitting on it all day long playing your games while I clean up after you. That's just unacceptable. Right? So we have to learn to balance those things, not to just be all one or all the other.